Hi, today we will chat about a new you for the new year. And this year, let's do something different. So instead of setting the traditional depressing goals that go by the window by January, getting the promotion, getting more money, losing 10 pounds, eating healthy, exercising, let's focus on how we want to feel. I am Peggy van der Plage. I am the author of Paris, Mushrooms and Me, which is a memoir on microdosing psychedelics for more joy and success. And I speak about mental health and personal transformation. So, at the end of the day, we set all these goals for the new year because we believe that reaching them is going to make us feel good. Whether the underlying reason is coming from a positive intention, more peace, more joy, more love, or from a negative intention, control, fear, approval. We set goals because we want tomorrow to be better than today. So first, let's go deeper. Why did we want these past goals in the first place? Like most of us, my goals used to be very typical. In a nutshell, more money and success, and a better looking and healthy body. But why did I want these things? Is it because if I was not slim enough, I would berate myself? Or if I was not successful enough, I would feel shame and guilt? That's not really an expensive place in terms of reason to go behind a goal setting. And if I go one level down, why did I feel guilt, shame, and self-loathing? Well, because early in life, I was conditioned to believe that a successful person, I needed all these things, and failure was not acceptable. So this very conditional love for my environment formatted me to run after all these goals without ever stopping once to assess if they were my authentic goals, if reaching them would indeed make me feel better. And spoiler alert, they did not. And I'm sure you're going to relate to that as well. We get the job, we get the money, we get the spouse, we get the body. And then a few weeks in, you realize that it doesn't really bring you much more joy than before. So yes, maybe we get more money that we will be spending right away on necessary items, or rather items that allow us to stay in the competition with the Joneses. Competition that really we don't care about, but have been conditioned to really care about. So this year, let's cut the crap. Let's uncover first what a journey to a more authentic self means. And second, let's bypass the middleman and focus directly on how we want to feel from an expensive perspective versus setting goals. So first, recovering your authentic self. So before you embark on this journey, let's be honest here, recovering one's authentic self is not for the faint of heart, is not 3 steps to manifestation during the weekend. First, it will ask us to look at the conditioning that we are operating under. And this is because if we want to disengage the autopilot, we need to consciously understand why we are thinking, doing, feeling the way we do. And in the process, we will realize that our caregivers, the parents, the schools, the religious institutions, our communities, and so on, they have consciously or not put limitations, distorted perception, and over niceties in our vision of the world. And this is not necessarily easy to realize that the love we received, or the care, if love seems like an overstatement for you, that love was very conditional. And most of us, most of our lives had been built on others' operating model. We never really made much choices here. It's based on our parents' or grandparents' own simulations. And to continue on the computer analogy, we might have been able to reach a high level at a game that was never ours to play in the first place. This is not necessarily an easy place to be. But the alternative is to continue to operate blindly, and for parents to continue to pass on to their children outdated concepts based on shame, fear, guilt, and so on. So second, in your pursuit of your authentic self, we will have to release these many layers of conditioning. So in step one, you realize that you're operating out of conditioning, and what are they? And now, well, you want to release them. And reformatting our software, which, by the way, will also ask that we upgrade our hardware. It's difficult to do, and usually this is where we get stuck in limbos, because we might have the awareness of the layers we would like to let go, of a version of ourselves that really seem more authentic, but we don't know how to do that. And I'm sure plenty of us, and I certainly did that, I've read, watched, followed programs helping us seeing a glimpse of our authentic self, but only to be left on the side of the road with no concrete tools to actually get closer to it. And I wander on that stage for very long, and I was extremely frustrated at myself because I was aware of my shortcomings, but I was incapable of thinking, acting, feeling any differently than what I had been formatted to be. So anyone who has ever tried to come to terms with an ingrained pattern of thinking or being, which is everyone, I believe, know what I'm talking about. So the third step is also to realize, as we become more authentic, some relationships and goals will fall apart. These relationships were based on an inauthentic version of us. So logically, as we recover our authenticity, the connection with these people or these goals, they will feel more and more tenuous. So, and here comes the great unknown. Who will we become? What will we do? Who will be in a relationship with? What will we love? What will we think about? What will we want? So on one hand, it can feel very exhilarating to get closer to our true nature and maybe restart from a blank page or something that looks like a blank page. But on the other hand, it means that what is not authentic will have to go. And as human beings, we don't like change. We don't like uncertainty, and we certainly don't like to let go of people and stuff before knowing what will replace them. So in a nutshell, it's a very rewarding journey to go after your authentic self, but it's not necessarily an easy one, especially when our lives are well established. We really want to rock the boat, but who want to die having lived someone else's life either, filled with regrets that could have been. Personally, I have always been terrified to die and be disappointed with my life, with myself, to have taken a path that was not my path, that was the path I was supposed to take. And, like in my quest for my authentic self, I had to leave a lot behind me. My country, my language, my religion, my parents, my friends, career. But I also found a lot of new fulfilling relationships, and not the least with myself. So here we are at the crossroad. So will we be the red pill or the blue pill? So will you embark on your own personal quest, uncovering your own authentic self, or will you continue more of the same on autopilot and living a life of quiet desperation? So if you opted for the red pill, I will share with you over the next videos the tools I have been using to increase my level of awareness, but also let go of my limiting belief and pattern. So I will uncover the practices that have worked very well for me, but also the ones that really didn't do the trick. So this gives you the playbook that I wish I had when I started on my own authentic self journey more than a decade ago. So buckle up. 2023 will be a fun ride. So if we look at, okay, what do you want to feel in 2023 and forward? Personally, like when I embarked in this journey, I really wanted to feel more lightness, more joy, more peace, more confidence, more zest for life, more fun. I was just so tired of feeling constantly anxious, stressed, blasé, unfulfilled, fearful, and so on. Like I'm sure many of you will relate to these different states of being. So the first thing to feel more positive emotion is to have a look at our nervous system. Most of us are operating under constant stress, which is leading to tons of hormonal imbalances. So too much stress hormones are putting our bodies in this constant flight or fight state, and it keeps us in this very suboptimal loop. So to get out of our autopilot mode, a calm nervous system is paramount. This is really one of the necessary upgrade that I was mentioning a bit before. Like you really need to make sure your body is calm. So I take a bunch of supplements to really help my nervous system calm it down. I would say my three favorite is really ashwagandha, really I like it. 5-HTP, love it absolutely, and magnesium. I also take omega-3 and probiotics. The gut actually greatly impact your central nervous system. So probiotics very important. So, just follow the guidelines of the manufacturers to start, and then, like do your own test to see if it's better at night, during the day, the frequency and all that great stuff. One thing I mentioned in the past, microdosing psilocybin really helped me to remove, that sharp edge from my nervous system, while giving me way more focus, creativity, and awareness. So right now I'm taking like micro dose of mushroom chocolate. I like edible. And next week I'll publish a video on 3 reasons you should start microdosing psilocybin for the holidays. And you can refer to previous videos on my microdosing regimen if you're interested by that. If you don't like chocolate, you can find dry mushrooms, you can find jelly, many other forms. So another thing that I really do to calm my nervous system is I move my body and I go outside, I walk outside. I know it's not necessarily appealing if, like me, you live in Toronto and it's February, but it's even more necessary to avoid the winter blues. So, moving your body can be only like a 10-minute stretch, and, going outside, you can put a great audiobook. I love The Big Leap. I've been recommending it over and over and listening to myself over and over. Audiobooks are really great when you just go for a walk. So it doesn't have to be super time consuming, but I know my body and mind really need the movement and natural light. And yours is likely to need that too. So, and the other thing I want to say in the category less is more, I cannot not talk about alcohol and cigarettes. I know, oh, boring. However, like drinking and smoking have obviously a super negative effect on our physical health, but they also greatly impact our nervous system. And like they generate anxiety, they disturb the sleep pattern. So in the grand scheme of things, it's silly to make so much effort to feel better and then sabotage it with all the drinking and smoking. So if you have resistance, decreasing your drinking and smoking, this is worth investigating. It was my case, and I realized that really peer pressure and combined with my people-pleasing mindset was really blocking me to make the right choice for me. So I will go in details in a later edition on the tools I use to release these blocks, and which allowed me to reduce my drinking to pretty much zero and stop smoking. So and last but not least is sleep. I have been on the receiving end, unfortunately, of greatly disturbed sleep patterns, and I can relate on how difficult it is to make the right choices, to feel and look good, on just a few hours of sleep. So in addition of assessing the promoters and detractors of great sleep, you might have, different things, but for me, it's the usual, like watching TV or screens late. We mentioned alcohol, heavy food, like late food and very greasy food. So I also tested several products to support, me getting my 8 hours of sleep. CBD oil works well for me when I don't need too much support. When I really need to crank it up after a few nights of insomnia, I actually reach for a mix of CBD and THC, oil or gummies, depending on what I have. And every night before going to bed, I put a few drops of lavender oil on my pillow and the sole of my feet. I also take some homeopathy. Nux vomica 30 ch is really my go-to. And last but not least, the most important point of it all is our intention. Set your intention to be calm, at peace, filled with positive emotion. It's like giving our internal GPS the direction we want to reach. It also helps us to become more aware and really purposeful. So in the next video, as I said, I will talk about why we should microdose psilocybin for the holidays, but I will also discuss how to recover your authentic self and increase the feelings you want more of, and also decrease the feelings you want less of. So please, share as always your comments, your questions. This is a dialogue, and I really like hearing what you're saying. You can visit my website if you want more information. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Take care.